What is up, Debt Free Mafia? Hey, welcome to today's video. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about how you should budget in 2022 so that you can hit your financial goal. Recently we had a video talking about how you can crush it financially in 2022, but I wanted to go in more depth on the best way to budget for 2022 because it is really hard to get to your destination, which is your goal, without mapping out a journey to get there. And a budget is one of the best tools to do that so that you can start to know where your money's going and start commanding where your money's going, so that way you can hit those goals that you have. And I'm going to explain today why I think the zero-based budget is the best budget and why you should start using it and what it looks like. Guys, if you don't know me, my name is Rick. I am the owner of the Debt Free Mafia, and I'm so thankful that you are here. If you want to be financially bulletproof, if you hate debt as much as we do, if you love the idea of leaving a legacy and being able to give generously and not have to check your bank account when you give generously, or even if you don't want to check your bank account just to fill up with some gas, this is the place for you. We talk about it, personal finance. We'd love for you to be a part of it. So go ahead, hit subscribe, hit the like button for me because it really helps promote my channel, and it's probably the #1 way you can support me. Let me know below if you've ever done a zero-based budget or if you enjoy budgeting. A lot of us don't enjoy budgeting, but my goal for this is to make it as pain-free as possible and show you kind of the power of what budgeting looks like. So we're gonna jump into it. I'm gonna share my screen. Let's talk about it. So, all right, cool. So this is my retro looking zero-based budget that I do with coaching clients that I work with all the time. And this is a real actual client at one time. This is what their budget looked like. This is real people use this budget. So I wanted to kind of talk about it. Kind of, some of you are probably looking at that just being like, man, there are numbers everywhere and I don't understand any of it. And you're not alone. This is gonna be a little bit daunting, the spreadsheet version. There's simpler versions that you can download in apps such as you should, what is it, You Need a Budget. I forget the acronym is for it. Anyways, You Need a Budget. That's an app you can use. You can also use EveryDollar. If you're a fan of Dave Ramsey, you can use that one. And then I think there's some others that are starting to adapt the zero-based budget, such as like Cube. But there's some other ones also that I think might do it. But those are the two that I know right now if you would rather do an app. But essentially, I want to talk through budgeting and what it should look like and why the bottom of your budget should have a zero, right? That's what makes it a zero-based budget. So we're going to talk through it. So this has it broken down into several different sections. So we got share, save, household. So starting off, this is like anywhere you're giving to charity, or maybe you're supporting your local church, whatever it might be. This is where you kind of budget that. So if you can tell right here, this is where we're budgeting. This is how much we're budgeting for each line item. And then up here, this is where our income is for the month. So this might look kind of weird to you, but we're counting every single paycheck that comes in. So this was a couple. I believe one of them was they're netting about $2,200 per paycheck and getting paid twice a month. They're getting paid on the 6th and the 20th that month in particular. The other one was making about $1,150 a paycheck, and they were getting paid on the 13th and the 27th. So if you can see here, we picked the month that we're in, and then we got 4 weeks to choose from. So in these 4 weeks to choose from, we have different income on those 4 weeks. So, I mean, it could totally vary for you. You might just get one paycheck. I have clients that just get paid on the 1st, and then they have to wait until the next 1st. So what this does is this just kind of lets you know what your cash flow is, basically the cash coming in versus cash leaving every single week. And this kind of helps if you fill this all the way out so that you know, hey, this is helpful or not. I know a lot of these apps don't go this in depth. I just do this because I want to have a tool that captures everything so that people can kind of understand, hey, the 3rd week of the month, for whatever reason, we're super short and it's our checking account, it's really low. Well, this will help you kind of understand why. Anyways, let's jump into it. All I really want you to worry about is I want you to worry about just the income and the expenditures. That's really the most important part. Income can change, right? There are some months where some of you get paid 3 times and not 2 times, right? So your income is going to be up for a month. Usually that happens to most people twice a year. So you want to kind of be paying attention to that. You want to update your budget every month because if you're not updating your budget every month, you're just going to miss on things, because guess what? Christmas isn't every month, and that can be a big expenditure on a lot of people. We're gonna talk a little bit more about Christmas here in a minute, but I kind of want to go through some of these categories, maybe help you think of some things maybe you haven't been budgeting for, and kind of some any other strategies that I have as far as, you know, preparing well financially when it comes to budgeting. So again, we'll go back to this. We have shares, so this is tithing, giving, organizations, charitable giving, anything like that goes here. Next, we got saving. So this is so retirement would be like, you know, if you're to the point where you're ready to start investing and you're just throwing extra money outside of your employer's 401k match or whatever it might be. This is like any additional things that we're saving for retirement. Short-term goals, so this would be like, hey, our fridge is going out, we need to save $1,500 for a fridge. This is where you start setting aside money every month to be able to pay cash for it. Next, this particular client in this month they had used part of their emergency fund. So they were having to use $500 out of their budget to pay for the emergency fund. So what we do is what we believe, if you've seen my videos on my step-by-step process to financial freedom, we believe in having an emergency fund. So anytime something, when it rains it pours, when something bad happens and you have to use your emergency fund, the next month what you're going to do is you're going to focus on paying back what you had to use, so that you always keep that emergency fund at the level that you determined that it needs to be at. So this particular client was having to pay that emergency fund back. All right, next, these clients were budgeting $560, about $140 a week to pay for groceries. They only give themselves $40 eating out. That's really good, especially if they're trying to hit goals. Eating out is a big time killer, as you probably already know. Not trying to guilt you, it just really keeps you from hitting your goals if you're eating out often. Work lunch, this is like, being able to buy a soda, or maybe you don't drink soda, but being able to buy tea or just something at lunch to go with the food you brought or something like that. Kids lunch, this is like if your kid goes to school and needs to buy lunch while they're at school or whatever, that's what you want to be sure to budget for that. Okay, so this is another one, clothing. A lot of people don't kind of just spend on a whim here. I recommend setting aside money every single month for clothing. So these clients were setting aside $480 for the year, so they needed to budget $40 a month. What we do is we teach the envelope system. Essentially, they're mini bank accounts. So you'd have an actual envelope, and it would be labeled clothing. And every month you'd go and take $40 out of the bank, and you'd put it in this envelope, whether you spent it or not. And what happens is after 3 months, if you don't spend any of it, you got $120 sitting in the clothing pile, and you can go on a shopping spree. So there's nothing wrong with shopping and buying clothes. Let's just plan ahead and make sure we got cash for it. That's what this is part of. So I recommend enveloping. If you're not familiar with that, be sure to check it out. Enveloping will help you spend your money so much wiser. Okay, so any doctor visits, you always got to think ahead. Got doctor visits coming up. Do we need to pay for the copay? Think ahead. Medications, that usually comes and goes. Supplements is anything you're buying outside of like the grocery store. Glasses, contacts, those are expensive. Make sure you're saving up. That's actually an item that you could make an envelope and put cash aside if you need to save up for some new glasses or maybe some new contacts, whatever it might be. This is their mortgage that they were paying. It says it came out on the 1st, but for whatever reason they're paying on the 20th. I'm not sure, I can't remember what that's about. But kind of keep an eye out for that, because that's a big expense, right? So we need to make sure that it's planned for. Repairs and upkeeps, if you got a home and you're not renting, be sure that you got repairs set up. Here we got utilities. That's pretty straightforward, like it's electricity, water, sewer, garbage, cell phone, internet. Nobody really has telephones anymore. I'll end up changing that pretty soon, but keep that in mind. Auto, I hope you don't have a car payment, but if you do, let's focus on getting that paid off. But going forward, let's make sure that we're planning for car registration for all the vehicles. Also make sure you got gasoline budgeted, car maintenance, because it's not if they're gonna break, it's when they're gonna break. And not only that, the car maintenance also includes like oil changes and new tires. So this is a good one to be sure to stockpile on, because tires are really expensive and they can kill your budget. So kind of be thinking about that. Car insurance, straightforward. We got our different insurance, life insurance, disability, health, dental, all the fun stuff. Just be thinking about those. We've got kids. You want to make sure that we're taking care of tuition or childcare. Maybe factor in babysitting, even if you got like a date night and you got kiddos. Be thinking about that. Discretionary, this is like, haircuts, getting your nails done, getting massages, maybe even chiropractor, stuff like that. Gym membership. And then also you gotta have all your different subscriptions. Subscriptions can be a real big burner on your budget, so be sure to kind of thinking about that. Also got different things budgeted for like hobbies, entertainment, treat yourself money or pocket money, whatever you want to call it. Pet supplies. Lastly, we got the debt set aside for what payments we're making on things. So we had some student loans and some credit cards here. And so these clients actually ended up having $250 left over in their budget. So they were going to fund their emergency fund, and they had money set aside. I can't remember what they were going to be, what their next goal was, but I think their goal was like to maybe buy like an upgrade around the house. So their next goal was considered a like a fund for upgrading the house. So what they did is we added this extra for next goal section. So they were putting the extra 250 that they were having into this. So if you see here with that 250 that we allocated, our budget is now at 0, which is super important, right? We want it to be at 0. Their income is $6,700 and all of their expenses are $6,700. If I take out that goal for the buying the home upgrade, I can't remember what it was. Home upgrade, they had $250 extra, right? So we don't want that because we want to be sure it's going somewhere with a purpose, because if you don't have a purpose for your money, it spends itself. So you can take that to the bank, because that just happens for everybody. But anyways, guys, this is a zero-based budget. Again, there's simpler options if you want to use like an app like You Need a Budget or EveryDollar. Both of those have good options. Both of them have free trials, or not free trials, but I think you can operate them in a free sense. You don't have to pay for the premium. If you're serious about it and you're really using it, I would give it a few months. And if you're really using it, pay for the premium features, because I know we use EveryDollar and it's just what we've been using. I haven't tried out a whole lot of others just yet, but plan to do that down the road. Go ahead and check that out. Guys, I really hope that this was encouraging to you on why I recommend a zero-based budget and why it helps you account for every single dollar. Guys, I hope you have a really, really good one, and I hope that you absolutely crush it in 2022 when it comes to budgeting. Guys, if you need me, feel free to reach out to me, DM, or whatever it is. Let me know in the comments below if you budget or if you plan to budget, or what your big goals are financially for 2022. I'd love to hear. Again, subscribe if you haven't. Go ahead and hit the like button for me. It really helps me out. Love you guys. We'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.